if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried. I'm sure many of you recognize this stanza from youth poet laureate Amanda Gorman's breathtaking poem, The Hill We Climb. In this morning's gospel, we find Jesus walking along the shore of the Galilee. I imagine he stops just for a moment and listens to the rippling sea. I imagine he feels perhaps a tightening in his chest as he remembers the sound of the current in another body of water, where not so long ago a prophet and preacher from the wilderness stood baptizing him. I imagine he closes his eyes as he envisions the scene. John the Baptist, arrested by the authorities and taken to a prison cell. I imagine he thinks about what lies ahead for John. I imagine he thinks about what lies ahead for him. I imagine Jesus, both God and man, grieves. I imagine he hurts. I imagine his whole human body is tired. I imagine he feels the weight of the reality that the world is not well, that it is a place that is unjust, cruel to the great benefit of the ruling class, and deeply dangerous to anyone who dares point this out. And even as he feels what it is like to live in this unwell world, Jesus tumbles intently into the earthly mission and ministry the imprisoned baptizer told us he would. He moves forward. He preaches the same message John did when he appeared in the wilderness. The time is fulfilled, and the kingdom of God has come near. Repent and believe in the good news. Jesus calls his first disciples, and he calls us to believe in the good news, not out of a place of detached cheeriness or foolish optimism, but out of the real and often heartbreaking experience of life on earth. Jesus calls us to citizenship in God's kingdom while standing along a shoreline in a world that is not well. These first disciples of Jesus leave behind those things that separate them from the possibility of this new citizenship, and Jesus asks no less of us. Jesus's call requires us to sit in our not well world and feel. It requires us to have the strength to acknowledge and know the grief, pain, and exhaustion that exists within and all around us. Because only then can we grow and hope and try, working toward another way, the way of the kingdom of God. Over and over, Jesus calls us to follow me, to take the risk, the sometimes dangerous risk, to believe in the good news, to believe there is another way. guided by and in and through the love God has for all of us. And that this other way is so close at hand. We sometimes catch a glimpse of it right here and right now in our unwell world. Perhaps some of us caught a glimpse on Wednesday when a very loud nation stopped talking for just a moment and listened, captivated by the words of a 22-year-old Black American female poet. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. The kingdom of God has come near, Jesus tells us. Do you see it?